club teammate Levi Colwill. And their task, among others, to stop clubmate Nicholas Jackson, who will get this match underway for Senegal. (2022-24). Neat, sharp pass as Sarr sends it forward, and England backpedaling rapidly, jabbed away by Colwill. Kane dispossessed, and the shot lacking any real venom from Idrissa Gueye. Back by Anthony Gordon. Here's Harry Kane. Support arriving. Saka up to the edge of the box. Koulibaly clears. Miles Lewis-Skelly losing out. Iliman Ndiaye. Fast-paced, threatening. Jackson with the shot. Blocked by the legs of Henderson. It's a sharp start from Koulibaly's header. Sarr up with heading out. Well, one back. The barriers are now for England. Into Gallagher. Teed it up. Saved by Mendy. Breaks loose. Kane's there. 1-0 England. It looked like the chance might have gone, but it just evaded the clutches of Edouard Mendy, and Kane pounced. And after a bright start from Senegal, it's taken England just under 7 minutes to score. Eze's little pass. Gallagher, the shot from Anthony. Completely different proposition. Colwill forward into Eze. He'll get a free. Koulibaly sweeping it wide. El Hadji Malik Diouf. Decent looking delivery. Headed away by Colwill. Malik Diouf. Chance to shoot. Not a bad effort as well. Out this one. Open end to end. Anthony Gordon. Oh no, England's first of the evening. And it comes. Deflection off Colwill. Iliman Ndiaye with a chance to clear. Camara. Diouf. Good ball in. Chance. Fine save. Henderson. The header from Ismaila Sarr. Denied by his Crystal Palace teammate. Henderson in goal for England. After a really good year with Burnley, as Anthony Gordon is upended by Crépin Diatta. Rice draws it in low and hard, and Senegal with a chance to clear it with one save with his left foot, and then a couple of minutes ago the save from the header in Declan Rice and Kyle Walker. Diouf is looking to Eze. Sent forward by Koulibaly, up towards Jackson, who tries to turn forward, penalised by the referee for the way that he turned into Trevor Chalobah ball, and now it's with Saka. This is Kyle Walker who sends it in, and at the far post, Anthony Gordon couldn't quite turn it in. Congo by a point. They've got 4 matches still to come, starting in September. There'll be a free kick there for the foul by Colwill. They have already qualified for this year's team, even without Sadio Mane. Camara's ball in. Idrissa Gueye. Here comes Diouf, whipping that one in, blocked by... tracked by Gallagher, who dives into no avail. And the block hold off here by referee Frappart for that challenge. He went down. Camara sending it into Ndiaye. Looking for an opening. Idrissa Gueye chases, gets the shot away, saved by Henderson. That was a decent effort. Yeah, Karte winning that one ahead of Bukayo Saka. I mean, one or two of Senegal's players just getting a little agitated. And El Hadji Malik Diouf into Ismaila Sarr. away from Walker, sending it in and tied it. Idrissa Gueye sending it Jackson's way. He's done well. Ismaila Sarr's there! And Senegal have the equaliser that their play deserves in this first half. And the pocket of Senegalese fans smiling in the late evening sunshine in Nottingham. And it is Ismaila Sarr who collected by Jackson. There's a liveliness and a threat about Senegal here. The challenge for the deflection just takes the sting out of the cross. Come in the fourth match. There'll be a free kick there for the challenge by Walker on El Hadji Malik Diouf, and a yellow card. Chalobah. Closing seconds of the opening half as Kane ventures forward, and the referee, Kane having put England ahead in the 7th minute. England have played at the City Ground in Nottingham in 84 years. Teams back in action in September in World Cup qualifiers. Miles Lewis-Skelly get team in the Club World Cup. Decent ball in. Oh, that was a really good chance there for Habib Diarra. Senegal threatening a second goal right at the start. Almost retrieving possession of Levi Colwill. Kane with options left and right, forced back, and then Edouard Mendy's goal for some time now. Eze trying to turn. Gallagher into Saka with the turn, can't force the issue, smothered. Challenged by Saka, up against Diouf, who's penalised, colliding there with in the field. Conor Gallagher as well, and Morgan Rogers. Rogers his weekend, and here he is, Gibbs White with a little touch into Rogers. Looks to set it up, and Curtis Jones, well, the three substitutes combining there with their first touches after having come off the bench. So Ivan Toney continues. Players furthest forward for England, but it's opened up here, and in behind the defence it's Habib Diarra, who sends it across the face of the goal and into the far corner of the net. England's defence completely bypassed there. Habib Diarra puts Senegal ahead. Brilliant play from the 21-year-old. England's defence completely bypassed there. Habib Diarra puts Senegal ahead. Brilliant play from the 21-year-old. Just watch this here, Kalidou Koulibaly. Complete. Eze losing out. Diarra. Powerful surge. Chalobah. Looking to try and change things. Into a Barry Eze. Gibbs White denied by Mendy. Brilliantly set up. What a moment that would have been for Morgan Gibbs White. Eze sending it through. Here's Gibbs White once more. England carrying a real threat. Bukayo Saka just wide. A touch on the way through. Much better from England. Mendy to the rescue for Senegal. Gibbs White involved again. Thomas Tuchel in the second half, and Bellingham has been dispossessed. And Jackson with a shot. Saved by Henderson behind off Walker. More pressure for England to deal with. Walker's there to head it clear. Here's Eze now for England. Madueke's delivery. Midfield, as it's collected here by Lamine Camara, who looked as though he was twice as many on target as well, 8-4. Is this going to be a first defeat for their England looking for a little bit of inspiration as in 1 year and 1 day's time. Rodgers chasing into the penalty area, challenged by Moussa Niakhaté. Only the second time these two nations have faced each other. This is Nicholas Jackson. There's a sharpness and a fluidity about Senegal that has mostly been missing for England. And it wasn't too far away from number 3, and it was the substitute Pape Gueye. Picks out Noni Madueke. Madueke having a run, sending it in towards Morgan. Madueke's delivery takes a deflection. Bellingham, 2-2. He's only been on the pitch for a few minutes. Boy, did England need a goal there. And Bellingham whips up the crowd. There's still time for more. And suddenly renewed hope for England of a victory. Madueke's delivery fell to Jude Bellingham. Quick to control and send it into the back of the net. Now on the attack once more. Sabali sends it over. It was an important header away since the Euro final a year ago. But here comes Senegal, and it's put behind by Kyle Walker. Under pressure, and it's plus added time. Senegal forward again. Gibbs White chasing. Madueke, brilliantly done, but Senegal look to break. Camara brings it. Here's a great chance for number 3, and it's taken. Senegal's third goal, scored by Sheikh Sabali. Victory assured. England will lose to African opposition for the first time in their history. And on the night, England well beaten. A night of celebration for Senegal. We've had a minimum of 5 additional minutes. Boos ring out around the City ground. Thomas Tuchel loses for the first time as England head coach. England lose for the first time.
Jamie Dimon looks you in the eye and says silver is speculative. A pet rock, a gamble. That was last quarter. In his own words. Now here is what he did not say. JP Morgan Chase operates the largest physical silver vault on planet Earth. Not one of the largest. They hold hundreds of millions of ounces. So ask yourself this. Why would the CEO of the biggest silver hoarder on Earth tell you not to own it? Silver sits at $23 today. Inflation, adjusted from 1980. That is nearly $150. We are 85% off the all-time high. That is not a pet rock, that is a coiled spring. By the end of this video, you will see the 2025 to 2026 catalyst that turns this metal from ignored into a supply crisis. And more importantly, you will get the one ticker to play it, without getting crushed. 3 forces are colliding right now, and almost no one is talking about any of them. Force 1, solar manufacturing is up 78% year over year. Each megawatt of solar capacity requires 500 to 700 ounces of silver. You cannot replace that with copper. You cannot engineer around it. Force 2, above ground silver inventories just hit a 5-year low. That is from the LBAM, the London Bullion Market Association, not some crypto Twitter account. Force 3 is the killer. Silver is not a primary mine metal. 70% comes as a byproduct of lead, zinc, and copper mining. Those base metal prices have been too low to justify new capex for years. So the mines are not coming. Demand line goes up. Supply line has been flat since 2016. Now here is the irony that will make you angry. In Jamie Dimon's own 2023 shareholder letter, he warned of unpredictable commodity shocks that could upend markets. He wrote that while his bank sat on the biggest physical silver stack in the world, he sees the shock coming. He just does not want you positioned before it arrives. Here is the one concept that 90% of silver investors get wrong. Paper versus physical. 95% of all silver trading happens on paper. Futures contracts. ETFs like SLV derivatives that never require anyone to take delivery of a single physical ounce. The physical market is tiny by comparison. That divergence is how banks manipulate price. In 2020, JP Morgan paid a $920 million fine for spoofing silver futures. They placed fake orders they never intended to fill, tricking the market into moving lower so their own shorts printed money. That was not a conspiracy theory. That was the Department of Justice. Now remember 2021, Reddit tried a silver squeeze. It failed. Why? Because the paper market is infinite. The shorts never have to deliver physical metal. They can roll contracts forever. So if you think a mob of retail traders breaks this, you are playing the wrong game. But here is the twist that changes everything. The real catalyst is not a squeeze. It is an industrial deficit. The Silver Institute projects a 215 million ounce deficit for 2024. Let me make this simple. We mine 830 million ounces a year. We use 1.05 billion ounces. That is a 220 million ounce gap every single year. Where does the gap come from? Recycling and above. Ground vaults. Those vaults are emptying. We are eating the inventory that took decades to build. When the vaults run dry, the paper game breaks. Not because of Reddit. Because there is no metal left to fake. That is the education. The paper market manipulates price in the short term. Physical supply sets price in the long term, and long term is now 18 months away. Now here is what most investors miss. They buy SLV. They buy physical coins. They hold. That is fine if you have a 10-year horizon, but they miss the timing trigger. Silver has a 7 to 10-year cycle. We are in year 6 of the current bull phase. The second miss, the dollar correlation. Silver moves inverse to the dollar. When the dollar weakens, silver rallies. But the real miss is Jamie Dimon himself. He knows the Fed is trapped. Debt to GDP at 123%. The only way out is inflating the currency. Rate cuts are coming. Probably 2025. That crushes the dollar and revalues every hard asset. JP Morgan's own economists project 2 to 3 cuts next year. Dimon cannot say buy silver because his bank holds a massive paper short position to hedge their vault operations. They profit from keeping prices capped. When the CEO of the largest vault operator tells you not to buy what he hoards, that is not advice. That is positioning. He is protecting his book. You are not in his book. Let me show you how absurd the valuation gap has gotten. Gold trades at roughly 60 times its annual mined value. Silver trades at 8 times. That is a 7.5 times valuation gap. Palantir trades at 24 times sales. The silver miner we are about to name trades at 1.3 times sales. You will pay 24 times for software. You will not pay 1.3 times for a metal with a shrinking supply. Bitcoin at $60,000 with no industrial use. Silver has 50% industrial demand and a supply deficit. One is a store of value. The other is a store of value with a consumption story. That is the market telling you it does not believe the deficit is real. That is the opportunity. Schwab and Fidelity rate most silver miners as sell or underperform. Their models are backward. Looking, they extrapolate flat prices. They do not model the 2025 solar build out. They do not model the vault drawdown. That is why you get the asymmetry. The downside is capped by production costs around $18. The upside is multiples. When you have that structure, you are not gambling, you are arbitraging a valuation error. That brings me to the only silver ticker I would touch right now. First, majestic silver ticker AG, current price around $6.52 week, range 450 to 880. Why this over SLV? No contango decay. Operating leverage. Every $1 move in silver moves this stock roughly $3. The specific catalyst. Their Santa Elena mine expansion completed in Q3 2025. Production guidance up 40% year over year. But here is the diamond connection. JP Morgan is the largest counterparty to their hedge book. They know exactly where the physical supply is. They see the same vault data we see. Now the valuation 1.3 times sales versus the industry average of 2.1. The market is pricing in failure. It is pricing in a silver collapse to $15. Recent insider buying. The CFO bought $150,000 worth in July at $6.20. That is not a rounding error. That is conviction. Price target logic. If silver hits $35, up 50% from here, this stock historically moves 3 times that. 150% upside from current levels. But here is the rule. This is a 5 to 8% inflation hedge, not a 50% core holding. You size it like insurance. You do not bet the farm on a metal that has been manipulated for decades. I would not be honest if I did not show you how this breaks. Risk 1, dollar strength. If the Fed does not cut rates, silver can drop to $18. That puts this stock down 40 to 50% from here. Risk 2, operational risk. This is a mine, labor strikes, permitting delays, grade degradation. Last quarter they missed production guidance by 12%. That is real. That hurts. Risk 3, paper market manipulation. JP Morgan and the other bullion banks have shown they can cap silver for years. They have infinite paper. They can sell futures until the price bends. You are betting against the house. The house has infinite liquidity. That is exactly why the position size is 5%, and you have a stop loss at $19 silver. But here is the counter. The house cannot print physical metal. When the vault's empty, the paper game ends. Not because of a squeeze, because of math. So here is exactly how to size and exit so you survive the volatility. Entry, limit order 3 to 5% below current price. Do not chase, patience. Position size, silver allocation equals 5 to 8% of total portfolio. Within that 60% in this miner, 40% in physical or PSLV for Canadian retirement accounts. Exit trigger 1 for profit. Sell 1/3 if silver hits $38. That was the 2020 high. Let the rest ride to $45. Exit trigger 2 for loss. Hard stop if silver closes below $20 for 2 consecutive weeks. That breaks the 2024 support level. Re-evaluation date March 2026. That gives you time for the solar build. Out reports and the LBMA Vault data update. Write these down. The research means nothing without a plan. Most people buy, panic on a 15% drop, and sell to Jamie Dimon's paper shorts. Do not be that person. One last thing. Silver can go nowhere for 3 years. It happened from 2013 to 2016. It happened from 2018 to 2020. If you need this money for a down payment next year, do not buy this. Silver is a volatility asset. It will test your patience. The asymmetry only works if you have an 18 to 24 month time horizon. You have to survive the drawdown. You have to ignore the paper games. The house wants you to panic. That is how they win. They need your liquidity to cap the price. When you hold, you become the friction. You become the force that forces delivery. That is the game. That is the entire game. Here is what I want you to do right now. Open your brokerage app. Check the 5-year silver chart. Then come back and comment. Yes, if you think silver hits $50 by 2026. No, if you think the banks keep it capped. I read every single one before my next video. In my next video, I am pulling the actual vault receipts and COMEX delivery notices from the last 6 months. The ones the mainstream silver bulls do not show you. We will find out if the physical silver is really there. Hit subscribe so you do not miss the evidence. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. But the math is not complicated. Supply is shrinking. Demand is exploding. The vaults are emptying. The CEO of the biggest vault on earth is telling you not to care. That is the signal. That is the wake-up call. Silver owners will wake up to this shock. The question is whether you wake up before the price does.